The ornate revolver matched the spiraling, ruby-encrusted cane he clutched in his narrow fingers. The forest green cape and matching dress shoes completed the outfit. The overall impression was that of a vaguely military dictator with a flair for the dramatic. He glared at the newspaper men through dark-rimmed eyes and ran his free hand through a mane of windswept hair. While his coif was rather wild and unkempt, it seemed positively tame in comparison to his eyebrows, mustache, and beard. All the facial hair was several inches long, exceptionally thin, and waxed into flowing curves and curls. The man could just as easily have been a talented performer or a dangerous mental patient. The wild look in his eyes and manic grin pitched the scales quite firmly in the latter direction. "Gentlemen, I could not help but overhear your plight. And as ever, when the problem seems intractable, it has either been caused by, or can be solved by, Lucius P. Alabaster." He concluded the statement with a triumphant thrust of his finger into the air and a thump of his cane to the ground. The stunned and confused silence that followed was clearly not the effect he'd been seeking. The ear-to-ear grin twisted into a scowl, and he eyed the men reproachfully. "Lucius P. Alabaster," he repeated. "Noted financial powerhouse, darling of the gentry, the one true defense our fair society has against the terrors of the windbreaker crew. Look here, sir, I am sure you are well known within your circles, but we are reporters with a newspaper to put out." "Reporters?" Alabaster fumed. "That you do not have head upon your frail shoulders to make yourself aware of Lucius P. Alabaster, easily the most notable figure in recent history, illustrates the true reason for your failing little publication. You should know my name. Everyone should know my name. You are speaking to the first man to be locked within the heart of Quartz Vault Penitentiary, as well as the first man to escape that utterly impenetrable prison. I'm afraid I'm not familiar with it." "Idiots," he rumbled. "Do yourself a favor. When I am through with you, march yourselves up the street to the office of our dear, increasingly ineffectual Mayor Ebonwhite and speak my name. See if perhaps he, a man who at the very least knows worthy of fear and hatred, can tell you the nature of the man who stands before you. I would, of course, gladly continue to list for you my exploits of note, but doing so would take ages, and like yourselves, I am on something of an unforgiving timetable, so I shall instead get to the heart of the situation. If you would be so kind, direct me to the cabinet where you file your photographs." "I've had quite enough of this. You get out of my building immediately, or I'll call the authorities." Alabaster rolled his eyes. "Mr. P., motivate our inhospitable guest to reveal the information I seek." One of the thugs stepped forward and grabbed the editor by the vest. With little effort, he wrenched the man from his feet and bashed his head into the ceiling. When the thug released him, the man fell to the ground, dusted with clumps of plaster that continued to rain down from a head-shaped hole. Alabaster stepped up and looked down at the unconscious man. He turned to the man and clucked his tongue. "Let us try again. With that fellow. Perhaps a bit less vigorously this time," he said. The thug turned. His new target, one of the thus far silent reporters, reacted quite sensibly with utter abject terror and total compliance. The last 3 months are in that set of drawers. The last 3 years are in that row, and the archives are through that door," he yelped, shielding his face with one arm and pointing shakily with the other. "Now that seemed to be a far more pleasant way to go about the transaction, didn't it?" Alabaster said. The garishly dressed interloper walked to the indicated